pack your things and leave my house.
But I gave you my pants to use for ritual.
I can no longer breathe in my own house. I beg leave.
Driver, something they smell this fall, so...
Celia Johnson was a final-year student in Unilag and the talk of the entire campus. Pretty, outspoken, and styled like a Lagos influencer, she walked across Unilag grounds as if soft life was her birthright. And when she started dating Kelvin, the mysterious student who made his wealth in ways nobody could explain, a boy whose money was so intimidating that even lecturers greeted him with respect, Kelvin had cars. Kelvin had a luxury house in Lekki. They both traveled to Dubai like it was Benin. This month Dubai. Next South Africa. Celia left the school hostel behind and moved straight into his Lekki apartment. From there, her life became a highlight reel, posted snap of late-night cruises, designer bags, and vacations. Everyone talked about her. Some admired her. Some envied her. Her best friend, Rachel, cared. Celia, this boy. Something about him is dark, Rachel whispered one evening as they sat outside the hostel. Celia rolled her eyes. Here we go again. I'm serious. His money is not ordinary. Look at how fast everything is happening for him. And so, why can't you ever be happy for me? Jealousy won't kill you, Rachel. Rachel's lips parted in shock. So that's how you see me? I beg shift, Celia snapped, picking up her phone. If you don't like Kelvin, keep it to yourself. That night, they left each other angry. That argument would be the last time they spoke peacefully for months. But Celia didn't care. Deep down, she knew Kelvin's money came from Yahoo, but as long as it kept flowing, as long as she remained the girl everyone envied. Life was good, until Kelvin got into a bad business transaction. Everything scattered from there. He started owing people left and right, and not just ordinary people, dangerous men who showed up at the house almost every day, banging on the gate and threatening fire if he didn't return their money. His clients ghosted him. His deals died. And problems started raining on him like floodwater bursting through a broken dam. He sold his Lexus. Then his Benz. Then the Prado. Then the expensive apartment. Soon, they moved in cramped two-bedroom flat that smelled of cheap paint and damp walls. Celia cried silently at night, rubbing her designer purse like a memory. After things had completely spiraled out of control, Kelvin, driven by fear and desperation, went to see a native doctor. When Kelvin met the native doctor, the man listened quietly, then nodded. If you want your money back, he said, bring me a woman's underwear or a personal item. It must be from someone who trusts you. That is the only way to restore your wealth. That evening, Kelvin returned looking desperate and haunted. I found help, he said, pacing. A native doctor. Celia's stomach tightened. What did he say? He can restore my wealth. But he needs something personal from a woman close to me. Female pants. Something powerful. Celia froze. But then she remembered Dubai. South Africa. The hotels. The clothes. The life. If we go back to the way things used to be, she whispered, promise you won't forget me. Kelvin squeezed her hands. I promise. When I rise, you rise. Celia nodded slowly. Deep down, she didn't believe in all those stories about exchanging destinies. She just felt that if Kelvin bounced back, his wealth would automatically cover both of them. As long as money flowed again, she believed everything would be fine. So Celia agreed. She gave him her best underwear. Her gold anklet. Her hairbrush. Kelvin traveled that night. And 2 weeks later, his wealth returned like a floodgate had opened. But so did something else. It started small. Kelvin wrinkled his nose. Babe, you. Smell off. Did you sweat? Celia laughed. Stop. I'm clean. But the smell grew. It was strange, thick, rotten, heavy. She bathed 3 times a day. She washed with soap that cost 100,000 Nigerian nairas. She used her most expensive perfumes. Yet nothing changed. And the worst part? Celia couldn't perceive the odor at all. Everyone else could. Except her. Soon strangers covered their noses around her. Market women shifted away. Classmates whispered loudly as she walked past. Rachel saw her once in class. Jesus! Celia burst into tears. Leave me alone. Rachel tried touching her, comforting her, but the smell was unbearable. Even she stepped back. But Celia, filled with shame and bitterness, shouted. Go away. You've always been jealous. Now you're happy, right? Rachel stood there, tears falling, and walked away. That day, Celia lost her last friend. One cold evening, Kelvin came home with a disgusted look. Pack your things, he said bluntly. Celia stared at him. What? I can't breathe in this house anymore. People are already talking. I beg, leave. Her throat tightened. But I did everything for you. I didn't force you, he cut in. Don't use emotional blackmail. Just go. He dragged her bags outside. And slammed the door. Celia stood outside crying, smelling like something she couldn't even describe. Her life had finally collapsed. Celia had nowhere else to go. Celia didn't know where to go, so she dragged her bags to the house of some girls she used to call friends, the same girls who borrowed her wigs, shared her clothes, and even ate her food when she was living with Kelvin. The moment they opened the door, they covered their noses. Jesus! Celia, what is this? One whispered. We can't allow you inside like this, another said, stepping back immediately. Before Celia could explain, they pushed her bags out and shut the door in her face. Tears blurred her eyes as she walked away. With nowhere else to turn, she finally gathered the courage to go to Rachel's place. She knocked softly. When Rachel opened the door, the smell hit her instantly. She flinched without meaning to, covering her nose for a second. But then she forced her hand down and looked at Celia with pure heartbreak. Come inside, she said gently. Celia looked away in shame. I didn't want you to see me like this. Rachel shook her head, stepping aside. I don't care how you look or how you smell. You're still my friend. That night, Rachel opened all her windows, lit incense, prayed, and let Celia sleep in her spare room. Celia, Rachel said the next morning, you have to tell your parents. Celia shook her head. I can't face them. You must. Whatever was done, it used your personal items. That smell is not physical. It's spiritual decay. Celia cried. I'm scared. Rachel squeezed her hands. You die if you keep hiding this. The next morning, Celia and Rachel boarded a big bus heading to Benin. The bus was almost full: students, traders, mothers with children, even a man carrying a big bag of plantain. Because the bus was crowded, nobody noticed the smell was coming from Celia. The scent simply hung in the air like a hidden shadow. At first, nobody said anything. But 20 minutes into the journey, a woman at the front suddenly frowned. Driver, something they smell for this bus. Oh. Another passenger checked under his seat. A boy complained, maybe person step on shit. Someone hissed, I beg, who carry dead rat? A woman held her nose and shouted, check that bag. Something they inside. The whole bus scattered into murmurs. The driver pulled over near a bush path. Everybody come down, make we check luggage. He shouted. People came down from the bus, opening bags, tapping shoes, checking food items. One man even removed his slippers and sniffed them. But nobody suspected Celia. Rachel stayed close to her, pretending to check her own bag too. She whispered, "Don't panic. They think it's something else." Celia nodded weakly, gripping the handle of her bag. Her eyes were red from crying, but she stayed silent. After almost 10 minutes of confusion, the driver finally shouted, "Oh yeah, oh, nothing spoil. Make everybody enter back chair. We dey waste time." People grumbled, still covering their noses as they climbed back in. As the bus continued moving, the smell hovered quietly again. Celia leaned her head on the window, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. Rachel squeezed her hand gently. "We are almost there," she whispered. As the bus rolled toward Benin, Celia felt her stomach twist. She wasn't ready to face her parents. The moment Celia stepped into the compound, her father's face changed instantly. Rachel stood quietly behind her, helping her carry her suitcase, worry written all over her face. What is that smell?" he said sharply, stepping back. Her mother, who had been sweeping the veranda, froze. The broom slipped from her hand. "Celia," she whispered. "Celia, my child, come here." But as Celia moved closer, her mother instinctively covered her nose. "Jesus! Celia!" she cried. "What happened to you?" Her father's eyes widened, shock turning into confusion as he stared at his daughter from head to toe, her long gown rumpled, her face swollen from tears, her suitcase beside her. He glanced briefly at Rachel, who stood beside Celia protectively. "What is going on?" he asked, voice trembling. "Celia, talk. What happened?" Celia didn't answer. She just fell to her knees and burst into tears. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Rachel immediately knelt beside her, holding her shoulders as she cried. Her mother rushed forward and hugged her despite the smell. "Tell us, my daughter. Tell us what happened." Her father stood still, breathing hard, his hands shaking slightly. Rachel touched Celia's back gently. "Celia, tell them," she whispered. Celia choked on her sobs, then finally whispered, "I've been living with Kelvin." Her father's jaw dropped. Her mother gasped loudly. Even Rachel closed her eyes tightly. She already knew this part, but hearing it again broke her heart. Celia continued, voice shaking. "I didn't stay in the school hostel. I moved in with him. I traveled with him. Dubai, South Africa. She swallowed hard, tears streaming down. Then, trembling, she told them everything. The money. The sudden wealth. The strange lifestyle. The native doctor. The ritual. The underwear. The items she gave Kelvin. Everything. By the time she finished confessing, the compound was silent. Her father paced like a man lost. Her mother cried beside her. Rachel held Celia's hand tightly, refusing to leave her side. And Celia kept her face buried in her palms, unable to lift her head. Her siblings hid behind the door. But they did not throw her out. They took her to different prayer houses. Different pastors. Different prophets. Some said she was spiritually rotten. Some said part of her soul was tied to Kelvin. Some said she was spiritually leaking. Others said she was near death. At night, Celia would feel shadows pulling her feet. Hands touching her hair. Voices laughing in her ear. She could not sleep. She could not breathe. She could not live normally. The fight for her life had begun one night during prayer. Celia collapsed. She saw herself standing in a dark forest. A giant shadow held her gold anklet, the one she gave Kelvin. "You gave him your covering," the voice said. "And now you smell like what was taken from you." Celia started screaming. "Leave me. Let me go." The shadow laughed. You were offered in exchange for wealth. You belong to him now. Celia dropped to her knees crying. Suddenly, a bright hand touched her shoulder. She looked up. It was Rachel. Not physically, spiritually. You're not alone, Rachel said gently. Come back. And just like that, Celia snapped out of the vision. Her mother was crying over her body. Her father was praying with shaking hands. Rachel was holding her tightly. That night marked the beginning of her deliverance. While Celia was fighting for her life, Kelvin was living like a king again. New cars. New chains. New girls. New apartment. But one night, everything changed. His new car burst into flames for no reason. His deals started failing again. He began seeing shadows. Women he slept with complained of nightmares. And then, he began to smell. Exactly like Celia. People ran from him. Girls blocked him. One night, a spiritualist told him, "The girl you sacrificed. Her redemption is your destruction." Kelvin screamed. But it was too late. Everything he gained from using Celia burned. After months of prayers, fasting, and cleansing, one morning Celia woke up and the smell was gone. Completely. Her body felt light. Her spirit felt free. Her family cried tears of joy. Rachel hugged her tightly. "Welcome back," she whispered. Celia returned to school a different person, quiet, humble, grateful. She apologized to Rachel with tears streaming down her cheeks. And Rachel, smiling through her own tears, said, "I never stopped being your friend." Celia rebuilt her life slowly. No alliances with suspicious money. No shortcuts. No envy. Just peace. Kelvin, on the other hand, never recovered. He became a warning, a story whispered among students. When you trade someone's destiny for wealth, your downfall becomes their redemption.
And that is the end of my story. If you find this story interesting and want to get more of our stories, please click on the subscribe button and turn on the bell icon to get notified immediately we upload new stories. Bye-bye.